Hi Gemini, it's Karen here. I haven't done a reading for you in quite some time, so I thought I'd better pull my finger out and get one done. So this is about the energies coming in from August for you, whether they're coming in or you're standing in them at the moment. So the first card I see here is Strength, and card is number 1, and of course we're in the season of Leo with the lion, and there's a lemniscate up here, which confirms to me that August is going to be your month where a lot of things fall away. It's something that you've been working on for quite some time. I'd say 6 to 8 months or even longer. You're now standing at a place where you've basically brought your will or your ego under your control. It's taken a while, but you've managed to get there. Now your ego is no longer running the show. It's as though you're both, great friends. It's all right, I'm sort of having a look to see what other energies are coming out. Because you've got your hands around the lion's mouth. It's almost like you tell the ego what to say and what to do. As the ego's no longer running the show anymore, and of course the lion's got his tail between his legs. So it's not it's not like the ego fears you, but it has a new respect for you. You've basically got it under control, as I said before. And this is allowing you to move forward on your pathway to where you want to go and what you want to do. August is going to be the pivotal month. We've got Lionsgate coming up in a couple of days. So I see those energies coming in through there. I mean, we've been in Lionsgate for about a week, and then also there's, energies after the 8th, where it's sort of going to be trailing through. So we've got energies afterwards, because it takes a while for the energies to sort of transition out of Lionsgate. It doesn't mean that, the 8th is Lionsgate and then that's it. Just like anything, there's a beginning and there's an end. So as you're going through Lionsgate, there's a lot of energies, a lot of momentum will pick up, and you'll be releasing a lot more. Now, it's a new spread, so I've just written notes down. Now, what you need to do to allow the August energies through. Now, what I have is the 9 of Swords. Now, you might think, well, okay, I really don't want to suffer to allow these energies to come through. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to suffer through this. Being the 9 of Swords, I see swords as our moral authority. Sure, there's going to be times where you're going to sort of, sit in your bed and you're going to sort of lament about, old times and how come it didn't happen like this and why couldn't it be like this. But you're releasing old stories. You're not listening, you're not listening to the stories anymore. You're releasing old patterns. And there's going to be a bit of a woe is me attitude, but that's okay. I mean, you're grieving for the parts of yourself that are no longer active in your life because of the evolution of, your soul's evolution, and the parts of you that you don't need anymore. They're still going to be there in the background, but you're not going to rely on them as heavily as you did before. So even though this card looks like, it's full of sadness and woe and sorrow, and it's a great card because it means release. So there's more release coming through. I mean, each time we cry, we release. If we consciously are aware of what we're releasing when we're in that situation, that makes half the battle won, really. Now our blocks, what I have here is the Two of Pentacles. Now because of this change of energy, generally, and you can see the lemniscate here again, so August is a very pivotal month for you. I see Pentacles as our energetic essence, our energy. Now, previously, before you went into this sort of challenge with getting your ego in your control, or getting on top of your ego, you basically had whims that would send you backwards and forwards. You know, yes, I'll go this way, no, I won't, I'll go that way, and, you know, no, I won't, I'll go that way. And because Gemini has a tendency to swing from one side to the other, because they're the twins. So you have one part of yourself going, hey, that's a great idea, and the other part going, no, I think this is a better idea over here. Even with ideas, Gemini has a tendency to have this one great idea, but then they'll go look at different options, and pick things out of the different options, and eventually come back to the original idea with a little bit of sprinkling of what they've found and researched along the way, which is not a bad thing. It's always good to sort of keep your options open and do research and just have a look and see what is out there. But seeing this as a block, I don't necessarily see too much of a block there, because you're still in the flow. You're still allowing things to flow, whether it's sort of flowing, you know, from the left to the right, backwards and forwards. I mean, that's something that we all do, because when we start to move forward, a part of us hasn't picked up. This is why we go 2 steps back, because a part of us hasn't picked up the lesson from 2 steps before. Then we start going off again. So, because we're not singular people, we're multidimensional beings, really, and there's different parts of us that we need to placate sometimes. As I said, you know, one part may want to go over here, where the other part wants to go over there. It's the same with everyone, you know, the different parts of them. And this is what creates confusion sometimes, is when they're all sort of intertwined together. We get a little bit confused, and we can't get that focus, that main focus. But once you get everyone to sort of walk together with you, you know, the different parts of yourself, all on one, you know, one focused journey, that makes things so much easier. And I believe that's what's sort of happening at the moment for you, Gemini. Sometimes you might have, you know, thoughts of, okay, well, if I hadn't have gone that way, what if I went this way? So you're still sort of swinging like a pendulum in some ways, and that can create the blockage. It's not having that definite focus to move forward. So, and this is all external. So what I'm seeing here, the Pentacles, is external. But then how to clear the block, what I'm getting here is the Two of Swords. Now I see swords as our moral authority, like it's said in the Nine of Swords. So this is making the decision. Do I still want to be with the old, going backwards and forward? Do I still want to be with the old, where that sort of harms me, that way of thinking and that way of, you know, behaving? Or do I want to go with the new, where I'm focused, where I'm internally focused, not so much externally focused? Because when you start, you know, because she's blindfolded, when you start going on the internal and understanding yourself on that level, decisions can be made a lot easier, because that's when you are, again, you're sort of bending your will to your expectation, you know, what you want out of life. Is having the ego in control. And that's what you've been working on over the past 6 to 8 months. Now, the Two of Swords is basically, I mean, swords are double-sided. One side can heal, one side can harm. So basically the decision that you're making here is do I still want to harm myself, or do I want to start to heal myself? And I believe through what you've been working on here is you want to start healing. But first you need to sort of really meditate and go within and not react emotionally to situations. But having that firm, belief, that faith, and really being grounded in your decision as to where you want to go. So you've done a great job, Gemini, getting through this. And there's still work to be done. So it's not, I think we keep working until the last, now goes into the box. So the outcome of all this is the Queen of Pentacles. Now the Queen of Pentacles is very grounded. She's a very nurturing soul. She's very protective, and she's very business-like as well. There is still going to be a little bit of change, transformation. Of course, we keep transforming as we move forward. But there's going to be more abundance in your life as well because of having that ground, being more grounded. Because you're an air sign, it's kind of, sometimes it's really hard to sort of, come down to the ground and become grounded. But you've been able to grasp that aspect of yourself and start really grounding in and becoming a lot more focused. I mean, the Queen of Pentacles has the biggest pentacle out of all the cards in that suit, because she knows how to nurture it. She has all the resources she needs. She knows what resources. Now, I'm not talking about gender specific either, because being the feminine energy here, I mean, all of them except for, well, I would say that's masculine energy there, which masculine energy is action and the external, where the feminine is more internal. This character here, it could be masculine or feminine, we can't really see. So even saying here with the Queen of Pentacles having the feminine energy is very receptive. So even if you're a male, I mean, you'll sometimes use your feminine energy to be more open, more, receiving more receptive to things around you. And that's what the outcome is here, Gemini. You're going to be more magnetic, more receptive. As I said, instead of sort of, being on the external, you're now sort of really looking at your internal and working from there. You're not working from the external anymore, you're working internally. So I've also taken a card from the Oracle of Delphi cards. You can see the Oracle of Delphi up here. Now the card that's come out is Theta. So you're removing the old mask. You're not wearing that old mask anymore. So you're basically taking off and looking at it, thinking, I used to know you. Thank you very much for what you've done, what you've helped me with. So that old part of you is now being released after all the work you've done, becoming more grounded. And even the character here, it looks a lot more solid, more in the body than sort of, floating up in the air. So I hope that helps, Gemini, regarding the energies that are coming in for August. It will continue on through August. You'll just be making a few little tweaks here and there. I don't see big, huge changes for you, but it's just recognizing the work that you have done and how, what a great job you've been doing. So I hope that's helped. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.